Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to go over how to sign up and use the website Wix with the intention of using it to create an electronic or e-portfolio. This video is more so intended for teachers and students who will be using Wix to create portfolios, and it goes hand in hand with my end of the semester create an e-portfolio project that I have in my Teachers Pay Teachers store. So I'm obviously not going to walk through this entire project, but if you're interested in looking at this or purchasing this for your class, feel free to click on the link to my Teachers Pay Teachers store in the description box of this video. All right, so like I said, this video is just intended to show you how to sign up and use some of the basic elements in Wix that is geared towards creating a electronic portfolio. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go to the website called Wix. So that's just Wix, Wix.com. And when you get to their homepage, you are going to want to click on the Get Started button here. When you click on the Get Started button, it will most likely take you to this login page. And if you have never used Wix before, you are going to need to sign up. So what you're going to want to do is go over to this sign up button, click on that. And if you're a student, I would highly suggest you use your school email or your student email if you have. So you will have to type in your email and create a password and then click sign up. I already have a login, so I'm going to go ahead and just go to the login page, log into my account, and then I'll show you what it looks like once you reach the home page of Wix. All right, so when you sign up, it might take you through a series of steps just to get your account situated. But once you have signed up, you'll be taken to this home page, and that is where you're going to be creating a new site. So you are going to be creating a website for your ePortfolio. So when you're ready to get started, just click on this Create New Site button. Once you click on that button, it will open up a new tab in your internet browser, and it's going to ask you a series of questions to help you get started. So the first question asks is, what kind of website are you creating? Down here, you do have the option to select portfolio. So let's click on that. And you can even go as far as specifying what type of portfolio you want to create. You can look through this list because it will help you find templates that are related to whatever type of portfolio you're creating. For me, I'm just going to select general portfolio right now, and then I'm going to click next. From here, it asks if you want to add any of these things to your website, like an online store or a blog, Instagram feed, anything like that. For the purpose of this particular assignment or project, I'm going to say to just not include any of these things. By default, it has this chat option. I'm going to uncheck that so that nothing is selected. And then I'm going to click next. So this is a really important step. You have two options for how you want to create your website. This first option is having Wix basically create the website for you. Students tend to have a really hard time if they use this option because you can't customize things as much as you would like. So what I really encourage you to do is to select this option, create your website with the editor. That way you can choose your own template and you have thousands of drag and drop features to edit and create the exact portfolio that you want. So this is the option you're going to click on, edit a template. The next thing is it's going to take you to a bunch of beautiful preset templates that Wix offers. So you can scroll through to take a look at the ones that it's showing you based on the option you selected earlier that you want to create a general portfolio. You can see there's so many different pages to look through of these different templates. When you're looking at the templates, just make sure that if you want to have a live preview of what the entire template looks at, when you hover over a template, so let's say I'm interested in this one and I want to see more, click on the view option, not the edit option, because when you click on the edit option, it's automatically going to assume that that's the one that you're choosing, and it's going to open a new tab for you to actually start to edit that template. If you just simply want to look at what the template looks like if it was a live website, click on the view option. It will open a new tab and it will show you a quick preview. Right now it says use this template as a starting point. Just close out of that for now because you don't want to get started editing yet. You just want to see what that template would look like live. So you can scroll through, you can see the different features of that template, the navigation bar at the top. If you are like, yes, okay, that is the one that I want to use, you could just go right up to this edit this site button. But if you're looking at it and you're like, you know what, that's not really what I'm looking for, you can just close the tab at the top of your internet browser and you can continue browsing. Another thing to be aware of is if you're looking through these templates and you don't really like any that you're seeing, right now, again, it's basing these templates off of you creating a general portfolio, but you don't have to use that as your search bar. If you want to see all of the templates that Wix has to offer, you can simply click on all templates here, and it will bring up more templates that you can use for your portfolio. So once you've gone through looking at the templates and you find one that you want to use, you're going to then go ahead and click on the edit button. All right, so when you click on edit, it's going to take you to the Wix editor, and this is where you're going to be building your portfolio. So along the left-hand side of your screen here, you can see right away that it's showing you where all of your tools are. So I will be going over those in a little bit, but the first thing that I would suggest you do is to delete any unwanted items or placeholders in the template. So right now, the template that I chose is this person called Alan Johnson, who's a personal life coach. They have different text placeholders and button placeholders pertaining to their specific website. But you're obviously not going to have the exact same website. So the first thing that I would do is delete out any unwanted placeholders. So right away I'm looking and I see this button placeholder that says book now. That is not going to pertain to my portfolio at all. So to delete placeholders, simply click on the placeholder. You'll see the placeholder highlighted, and on your keyboard, click the backspace key and it will delete that placeholder out. So first step would be delete unwanted placeholders and replace any placeholders that you're going to keep with your information. So my name isn't Alan Johnson, so I'm going to change that up. So let's say your name is Sally Smith. You would type in your name, and then this placeholder underneath, I'm going to change this to be ePortfolio. To edit a placeholder, all you need to do is double click and you can go in and you can change out the information if it's a text placeholder. And so I'm going to change this to say ePortfolio. Right now, I'm going to keep this quote, ambition is the first step towards success, but underneath where it says now available, that I don't need. So again, I'm going to click to select the placeholder, hit my backspace key, and delete that out. So I'm going to scroll down here and you can see that there's so much more information in the template that you're not going to need. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete out all of these placeholders right now. You can use your mouse to click and drag if you want to select multiple items at once and delete them. All right, so another thing that I want you to know of is sometimes templates will have anchors. So if you see here where it says about, it's actually a page anchor, and I'm not really going to go into what those are for. But to make life easier for you, you're not going to really need these for your portfolio. So you can actually just go ahead and delete any page anchors that you see. So to do that, all you need to do with your mouse over top is right click and go delete. Okay, and then another thing is I don't need this huge blank white section, or they call it a strip. So if you want to delete out entire sections in your templates, you can just simply click to select that strip or that section, and same thing, hit your backspace key on your keyboard and it will delete it out. If I keep scrolling down, it's going to take me to the very bottom of the web page, which is called your footer. So your footer is going to appear on every single page that you set up in your navigation bar. It's always going to be at the very bottom. So what you put in here is going to appear on every single page. Some students do set up a contact section where if you're using your portfolio for job interviews, it's a simple way for the employer to contact you. But if you're just using this for an end of the semester project, I would suggest to maybe get rid of the contact section, and you can simply put in a quote that you like or an image that you like. But just remember that this is going to appear on every single page of your portfolio. So I can see here that this contact section also has an anchor. So I'm going to delete that out by right clicking and going delete. And then with my footer, I don't want any of this contact stuff in here. So I'm just going to click and drag to select it all, backspace it out. But you can still see that my footer is there. So instead of having the contact information, I will instead put a quote. So I'm just quickly going to do that by going to add text. And then I'm going to choose what type of text. I'll click on the heading option. When I add the text, it's placed outside of my footer, but because I want this text to appear in my footer, I'm going to click on the option Move to Footer. There we go. And I'm going to double click to edit and just type in a quote. You'll notice that when I'm typing out my text, I have this text settings box that comes up. This is where you can change the size of your font, the alignment, the color. You can add shadow effects. There's so many different things that you can do in here. And I'll leave that up to you to go through, but just know that when you're editing your text, you do have these text settings here. Okay, so I'm going to center it on my page. You see that pink line come up. Those are called your smart guides. That helps you line things up evenly on your page. And then down at the bottom here, you have this arrow where it says stretch. This allows you to set how large your footer is. And now I don't need it to be this large because I just have a quote. So I'm going to click on this stretch button, drag it up to remove that unwanted space. So now I simply have a quote in my footer, and that will be the footer that appears on every single page. Notice now I still have this big gap between the top of my page and the footer at the bottom. That's because we deleted that strip out and all those other placeholders. So to remove this space and to have your web page be shorter, all you need to do is at the top of my footer here, it says adjust page height. So to remove any space above the footer, all you need to do is double click the handle and it goes straight to the top to remove any unwanted space. Or you don't need to double click to have it jump right up there if you want. You can simply just click and drag and adjust it to whatever height that you're looking for. It's hard to tell right now, but you can see my navigation menu on the side was getting shorter. You can click and drag if you still want some of that space there. You can decide how much you want to adjust your page height. Okay, some other things at the top here that I don't need. I don't need this login bar placeholder, so I'm going to click and delete that out. And then this up here is your navigation menu. This you do want to keep. This is where you're going to build the different pages that you require for your portfolio. All right, so before I go into how to change your navigation bar and edit your navigation bar and all that, I just quickly want to show you again these options that are along the side. Most of these you're not really going to need to worry about. because I'm sure you're not going to be booking anything or adding a blog or apps or anything like that. But what you're going to be working with the most is this add button and this menus and pages button. If you ever want to add any kind of element to your portfolio, so text, pictures, if you go under image, you'll see that you can go to free Wix images. Wix has a ton of beautiful free pictures that you can use for your portfolio. By default, it just comes up as whatever they have here, but under the search bar, you can search for, let's say, like a landscape picture, and there's tons of free photos that you can use on Wix. This is where you also go to add like shapes. If you want to add shapes, under decorative, you can find different types of icons or vector art, so many different things. So take the time to explore this add option. And whenever you add anything into Wix, so let's say I add this shape because I want to build something into it, whatever you see is just the default style, but you can edit anything that you add and customize it how you would like. So right now it's just this plain black shape, but if you click on it, you'll see a toolbar come up where you can do a ton of different features to it. And under design is where you can go in and you can change the fill color, or you can change the border or add a border to it. You can add a shadow effect. So again, just keep in mind that whatever element you're adding into your portfolio, chances are you'll have this design button available and you can change the appearance of it. All right, so the next thing I'm going to go over is really important because it's how you change your navigation menu to match the required pages you need for your portfolio. So if you simply click on the navigation menu from the website, you're not going to be able to go in and actually edit the names of the pages and all of that. However, just kind of a quick sidebar here, when you do click on it, you'll notice that design button come up and you can customize the navigation bar. It doesn't have to be the preset template. You can go and click on a different design, and you can even go in and customize the designs even further. So you don't need to stick with what the template has. You can customize it as much as possible. But in order for you to change the names of the pages, delete pages out, etc., that's where you'll be going on the left-hand side here under menus and pages. When you click on menus and pages, you'll see all of the preset pages from the template come up. You're not going to be using any of these pages because you're going to be changing this based on your portfolio. So the first thing that I would do is I would go and delete all of the templates pages except the home page. You still need to have a home page for your portfolio, but all these other pages in here you are not going to be using. So to delete a page, you'll just click on the one that you want to delete, click on these three buttons, and you'll go down to delete. And again, make sure you're not deleting your home page, but you'll be deleting all of the other ones. Sometimes you might see a pop-up that says, are you sure you want to delete? Click yes. And then just continue that process until you only have your home page. Okay, so in my resource on Teachers Pay Teachers, where I have all the information you need to create your ePortfolio, I do talk about which pages your portfolio should have. So again, if you don't have that piece, check out my Teachers Pay Teachers store. But if you do have that downloaded, you will have part of the handout that says required pages. And those are the pages that you're going to build in your navigation menu. So the first one that I say in the handout to have is an About Me section. And in order to create a new page, you'll see my navigation bar now is empty except the home page. In order to add a new page, you'll go down to the bottom, click Add Page. It's going to have suggestions, and you can click on the suggestions. It says to use an About Me page, da 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 da. You can totally do that if you want to look at these preset templates there. But I'm just going to go to blank page here. And then you'll see it come up under your navigation menu. You are going to need to name this. So it could say About Me, or if you want to include your name, it could be About Sally, whatever you want to name it. I'm going to name it About Sally and click Done. And then you'll see it added to the navigation menu. Under the required page section of my project handout, I explain that under the About Me section, you're going to have sub pages that are related to the About Me section. So under the About Sally section, I'm going to now add sub pages that will fall underneath it. And that's going to be a brief autobiography, your education, and your skills. And then in the handout, I also say you can also add work experience, certificates and awards, anything else you want to show about yourself. So to add a subpage, you're just again going to click on the Add Page button. It's again going to pull up some preset templates. I'm going to just click on Blank Page again. You'll see it come up again as a main page here, and I'm going to rename this as Brief Autobiography. So now, in order to have this be a sub page, all you're going to do is click and drag it over, and you'll see a line connect the two now, and that's telling you that this is now a sub page of the About Sally. And you'll see in the navigation bar as well that this brief autobiography is no longer in the navigation menu. If I drag it back to how it was before, you'll see that it was a main page. But if I drag it inwards, it is now a sub page. And what that means, if I go to a live preview right now, if I go to preview, what that means, what a sub page is if I hover my mouse over About Sally, you'll see this sub page option come up. It's not part of the main navigation menu. It's part of this About Sally group. So I'm going to continue adding those remaining sub pages for my About Me section. So I'm going to add my education and I'm also going to add my skills. So if I go back to the preview, you'll now see all three of those sub pages come up under my About Sally section. Okay, now I'm going to just go ahead and finish up the remaining required pages for my portfolio, which will be on the navigation bar. Okay, so now I have all of my pages laid out here, and you can see on my navigation menu, my page is laid out. However, because I have so many items and the words are long, I have this More option instead of the ability to see my community involvement piece. So if your navigation menu looks like this and you have so many items that it has this More button and you don't want that there, you can click and drag this out so that it's longer, and then now you'll see that my community involvement is there. Okay, so I only have a couple more things that I'm going to talk about, and the first thing that I want to make sure that I mention is how to password protect your resume page. So again, this is up to your teacher on whether or not this is going to be included, but if you are including your resume, you don't want a stranger to be able to see your address or your phone number. So you want to make sure that you lock this page and you passcode protect it. So to do that, when you have your site menu open, under resume, you'll click on these three dots and you'll go to the settings option here. And then once your page settings come up, you'll go over to this permissions option. And you can see right now, anyone can see this page. You want to make sure that this is set to password holders. So when you click on password holders, you're then going to set a password. For the purpose of this demonstration, I'm just going to set mine to 1234. And that way, when you are applying for a job interview and you are having your ePortfolio as part of the interview process, you can give the interviewer or the employer the passcode so that they can go in and view your resume. That being said, make sure you create your passcode to be something that is professional and not, a bad word or anything like that. So once I have my passcode created, you'll see now in the menu, there'll be a key icon next to my resume, and that means that it is password protected. I just want to give you a heads up though, that when you password protect your page, the password isn't going to be required until you publish your website and it's live. And I'm telling you that because I've had students in the past who have set a password for their resume page, and then they go to the preview option where you would go to preview your portfolio. When you're under preview, if I click on resume, it's not going to prompt me to type in a password because I'm just in preview mode. It's just me seeing the website under the editor. However, when your website is published and it's live, anyone who clicks on this resume button will have to put in a passcode. So I'm just telling you this because I've had students in the past freak out when they're in preview mode because it didn't prompt them for a password. It's just because you're in preview mode, it will prompt whoever for the passcode when your website is live and published. So that leads me to my next thing of using the 3 buttons here at the top, save, preview, and publish. Wix does save your website automatically every few minutes. I'm not exactly sure what the timeline is, but I have had students in the past who unfortunately have lost their work because Wix hadn't auto-saved it in between a time where their internet had cut out at home or something along those lines. So when you're working on your portfolio, make sure you are continually pressing save. So after I press save, you'll see this box come up. It will say your site is saved. When you publish, the following will be your domain. So your domain is going to be your email, and then by default, it's set to my site here. I would suggest changing this out to be just portfolio. So you can edit what your URL or what your domain is going to be. You can simply click on this edit option, and I'm going to change it from my site to be portfolio. Click on the check mark. And so now when eventually you publish your website, this is going to be your URL that you're going to share with your teacher or your employer or whoever you're sharing your portfolio with, and then click done. The next thing is important, okay? This publish button you should not be clicking on until you are completely finished with your portfolio. It might be tempted to publish it right away, but when you publish it, it's live, anyone can see it. So you don't want to have, for example, your resume out in the public if you haven't password protected it yet. So when you're working on it, just click save, or if you want to see what it looks like live, you can click on the preview option, but do not click on publish until you are completely finished your portfolio. All right, and the last thing I'm going to be talking about in this video is how to add your work samples or your resume. So in other words, how to add Microsoft Word documents or PowerPoints or PDFs, any kind of document you want to add to your portfolio to show your work. So I'm going to go under the resume page just to show how to go and add your resume. And just a heads up, I can't click on the pages under my editor and it will take me to that page. If you want to switch pages, you'll have to go down to your menus, click on the page you want to edit, and it will take you there. So under my resume page, I'm just quickly going to add a title at the top. You will obviously spend more time on your portfolio to make it look nice and add different design elements to it and whatnot. But I'm just quickly going to add a title here. I'm not going to edit anything really. All right, so whenever you're ready to add a document, so again, whether it's for your resume or work samples, what you're going to do with this is you're going to go to the add option and you're going to go down to button. Under buttons, you'll see on the side document buttons, or you can simply just scroll down until you see that. But under document buttons, you have different buttons you can include for whatever type of document you're including. So for my resume, it's a Microsoft Word document, so that's the button that I'm going to pick. But if you're doing this to add work samples and maybe you have a PowerPoint presentation that you're really proud of and you're going to use it as a work sample, you would click on the PowerPoint button or the PDF button or just a simple attachment button. Like if you're attaching a Photoshop file that you're using as a work sample, you can just use this generic attachment button. But I'm going to go ahead and select the Microsoft Word button. And when I click to add it, it's going to prompt me to upload my media or upload my files that are connected with that button. So in other words, because this is my resume page, I'm then going to upload the actual Word document that has my resume. So to do that, I'm going to go to this upload media button, and you're going to want to go find wherever your documents are saved in your computer. For me, I'm just under my documents, I'm going to select this resume sample and go open. You'll see at the bottom here, it says completed upload, and you'll see it come up. I'm going to click on it to make sure it's selected and go add to page. And you'll see the button come up. You can resize it, you can move it around, whatever you want so that it looks nice on your page. Again, because we're an editor, if I click on it right now, nothing is going to happen as far as my resume is not going to open. It's just going to open the document finder. In order for you to actually be able to see that the button works and that it opens up your resume, you would have to go to the preview option. And under preview now, you'll see that the button is live. You can tell because my cursor changes to that little hand click icon. So if I click on it, you'll see the Word document is downloaded in the bottom left corner of my screen. And whoever is viewing your resume can then click and open it up. So that's the process that you're going to use to upload your work samples as well. And it's totally up to you on what type of work samples, or up to your teacher what type of work samples you'll be uploading. But if it's a Word document or a PowerPoint or a PDF, you'll just use that same method. You'll go to add, button, document buttons, and then let's say it's a PowerPoint that I want to add. You'll click on that one. It will take you to the upload media page. You'll see that my resume is still there, but this is different as a work sample. So I'll go to upload media from computer. I'll find whatever PowerPoint it is that I want to include. I don't have any here as an example, but you'll find your PowerPoint. You'll click open and you'll add it to your page. All right, so that is pretty much it for this video. I could spend hours explaining all the different features to use in Wix, but that's not the purpose of this video. The purpose of the video was to get set up using Wix, set up your navigation menu, but best way to learn is just by exploring. So like I said, go through everything that Wix has to offer, play around, spend time on this to have it look nice but professional. Save as you go, like I said, and make sure that you're not clicking on this publish button until you are completely finished. This project is going to take multiple classes, probably even weeks. So you're not going to finish in your first go at this. When you're done, you can close out, and I'll just completely close out of my browser altogether. So let's fast forward and pretend it's your next class and you want to continue working on this. You'll just go back to Wix.com. It might prompt you to sign in again, so you'll just sign in with the email and password that you had set up before. And when you sign in, you'll be taken to your home page here. To get back into working on your website, you'll see your site here at the top. You'll just click on Edit Site, and it will take you back into your website editor. And lastly, if you have more questions or you're not sure how to use certain features on the website, Wix does have a help center that you can go to. So if you click on your profile icon in the top right corner of your screen, you can go down to this help center option. And this has tons of different articles or videos or things that you can look at to help you use their different tools and features. They have this getting started section, a section all on the Wix editor, so how to build your website. I'm going to go to show all so you can see here. So it talks all about how to use text or how to use an image or how to use gallery. So if you have a question about anything as you're working on it, how to use different features, go to the Help Center because they have a ton of information and how-to guides on how to use their different features. So that's it. Thanks for watching my video. Feel free to comment down below if you have any questions or head on over to my Teachers Pay Teacher store for a full handout of the project.